Jin was also naked at this point.
Fatality.
Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of Wake Up 3. You have reached round 37, and we are your hosts, Molly
And Cam. And we are a fighting game podcast from a couple who loves fighting games.
Yes. And in lieu of a mix-up this week, because Capcom Cup is present, it is now, it is happening, our mix-up is going to be a prediction up. Matchup? See if our predictions match up. So Cam and I have independently, no discussion, no deliberation amongst each other, we have chosen winners to come out of each of the groups at Capcom Cup.
Yes.
So we're going to go over those now and see if any of them match up. And I guess you, as the listener, will find out if either one of us are right in a few days or in a sooner or later, depending on when it all happens.
And when you listen.
Yeah, that too.
Do you want to start with Group A?
Sure. My choice for Group A is Phenom?
Okay. I chose Kawano.
Okay. Group B, what do you got?
I've got Big Bird.
I do too.
Okay.
Group C, I have Knuckle.
Same.
Oh!
Same.
Uh-oh.
Knuckle do.
So this is a matchup.
It is.
Group D, what do you have?
Group D, I've got Gachikun.
Me as well.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Group E, which I have nicknamed the DJ pool because there's a lot of
There's
DJ
a lot
in there.
of DJs.
And I did choose a DJ. I chose Fudo.
Okay. I chose Snake Eyes.
Okay, Zangief.
Yeah, I want to see him represent.
All right, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Let's head to the death pool, Group F.
Group F. This one was hard. There was a lot of deliberation here, and I feel like it could really go any way, but I'm going with Angry Bird.
I too chose Angry Bird, and
Okay.
I agree, there was a lot of deliberation. During the LCQ, Angry Bird was on the couch talking to Rob TV at one point,
Okay.
and was asked about winning EVO and what was going through his mind. And his response is why I went with him. He said once he was playing, nothing was going through his mind. Just present in the game.
That's awesome.
Not thinking about what if I win, what if I lose. So yeah, that focus is why I ended up choosing him for Group F.
Fair enough. Oh, I think between Meta and Angry Bird is what I originally narrowed it down to, but Ending Walker kept creeping in there, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I even thought Nero the Boxer a little bit, but I just feel like it's going to be Angry Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Group G. I didn't know a lot of these players.
Who do you got?
I've got Rain Pro. He's a Guile player, and I really haven't seen a lot of Guile, but I know that he's very good in this game.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't seem to be that popular of a pick.
I chose Safe.
Any reason for that?
Just an intuition. We'll see if that comes true or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
I mean, anybody that made it this far,
exactly.
it could be any of them.
Exactly. All right, that leaves Group H.
Group H. I chose the LCQ winner, Problem X.
Me too.
Okay.
So
We got a lot of matches here.
yeah, I had some doubts with Problem X in the LCQ Grand Finals. I thought, nah, he already did this. It's not gonna go well. We've seen this already, and it didn't
Right.
go well.
But he adapted.
He
and
proved me very wrong. So I felt like I can't doubt him again. I'm gonna carry him through this pool.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
let's see some Problem X.
Yeah, he adapted and he smoked Punk, and it was some great fights to watch.
Oh yeah. Well, let us know your picks for Capcom Cup if you're watching. Hopefully you are, to see some really good Street Fighter 6. See who gets a lot of monies.
Yeah, that's a life-changing amount of money. So it's gonna be very cool to see this. First time anything like this has ever happened in the FGC. So all eyes are on Capcom Cup right now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to talk about our week in fighting games?
Yeah, sure. We kind of touched on it a bit already, but the LCQ for Capcom Cup took place. Any highlights you want to talk about?
Definitely Problem X.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bummer to see Daigo go out.
Yeah, I missed him losing. I did catch his match against Punk.
Mm-hmm. So there was like a solid hour of JP mirror matches at one point.
Oh my god. Yeah, what was the match that they chose to show on stream another JP mirror match instead of like a jury mirror match, I want to say.
Yeah, and I really wanted to see the jury mirror match. I was excited to pick up some tech.
We got a jury player in the house. Let us down there.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
This Kaguru, his JP was just treacherous all throughout. And I watched the match between him and Tokido. And I was really rooting for Tokido's Ken. It was a good match, but he couldn't do it. JB, who played Rashid, I think. Yeah, JB played Rashid and ended up taking out Kakaru, which was hype. That was so good. He was like on fire. Really good stuff. A lot of fun to watch. Right now at Capcom Cup, the Ed demo, I guess you could say, is live and people are playing it there and reporting on how this version of Street Fighter 6 feels in regards to other characters. So I've already seen a lot of things that Jamie now has the capability to do that sound really good for Jamie players. And some nerfs for JP and Ken.
Can't wait for those patch notes.
Oh yeah, that's going to be so fun.
Let's talk about our gameplay this week.
Okay.
I played a little bit of all three of the big three titles this week, actually. I played a little Baraka.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot. I was like looking at you like, what? No, you didn't.
Yeah, I went back to MK1 for the first time in like 6 weeks. I was honestly kind of worried, like, what if I forget all my moves? What if I...
You were worried, and I was like no.
Man, like, I'm gonna suck. And then I just went on this, like, tear of destroying a bunch of people, and it was nice. It felt good.
We played Street Fighter.
Yeah, we played some Street Fighter.
Just a ranked.
Yep, I was obviously jury again. I've just been, like, straight up jury lately. I haven't touched Luke in a while.
Yeah, I've been Jamieing. I've been drinking and driving as Jamie. I always have to throw in the as Jamie really quick so that I don't get like,
clipped or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Did some ranked.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about Street Fighter 6 is still the face moves. It's just the best. And when we went to play Tekken 8, it's like you miss that.
Yeah.
You miss that. You want to do that, and then it's not there. You're like, oh.
Yeah, the title card pops up, and they've got their faces on there, and you just want to make them move around. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Tekken 8, I've been playing more Tekken 8 online. And
yeah, you have.
I actually hadn't played that in about 2 weeks because we focused on the story, for one thing. And then I just kind of went back to Street Fighter, and I've been playing pretty much all jury. But I went back to Tekken and brought my Kuma up a few ranks, and it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Love to see Barris win.
Yeah, definitely. So. I've been beating people that are several ranks above me, and I know right now rank means nothing because everybody's still getting to where they need to be and whatever. But it still felt good because it reminded me that nobody really labs bears. Mm-hmm. And I can kind of just throw out these wild, unsafe moves and people don't know what to do about them.
Get into some tournaments with that bear. Come on.
Yeah, I gotta bring Kuma in.
Yeah, my focus in fighting games this week was definitely still Street Fighter because, it's just in the air. But I think that's it for our weekend fighting games. Let us continue with part 2.
Let's do it.
Shall we take a train? Shall we take a plane? Let's all hop in Lily's jet and pick up where we left off with the Tekken 8 story.
If you haven't listened to part 1, you should do that first, but otherwise, Chapter 8, Humble Beginnings. We start off with Nina Williams, known failure and terrible assassin. We see that she's working for Kazuya once again, and she tells him the location of Jin Kazama, which is Yakushima, where he grew up. She also says that she has been scouting out some of the fighters in the tournament that may prove to be useful. From here, we move to Lily's private jet. High in the sky, Lily, Jin, Asuka, Ling Xiaoyu, and Panda are all traveling to Yakushima while Jin reminisces about the time Ogre killed his mom and burned down the forest. When they land, the group splits up and Xiaoyu tells Jin of all her dreams of running an amusement park. They arrive at Jun's sacred tree and have a little sparring match.
Hold on a second there. Xiaoyu does not say this unprompted, mind you. She's walking with Jin, and she asks him, what did you want to do? What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a kid? And Jin said, nothing really. I just thought it would be cool to, like, be able to protect my mom. I don't even know if he says that.
Yeah,
Something to that effect.
He wants to be strong and protect people he cares about.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I thought it would be cool to run an amusement park because it would be fun to bring joy to people.
Yeah, she wants to bring joy to the entire world. I was just going to move right on past all that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to let you just...
She wants to run an amusement park. Like, okay, random. We're here to fight the devil. So Jin wins the sparring match, and Ling Xiaoyu says, I thought you'd changed so much these past few years. Freaks me out just thinking about it. But hey, you're still the same Jin I've always known and loved. Is this the first time that we've heard her profess her love? We know that it's always been a thing, but I don't think she's ever said it like this before.
Confessions!
I'm assuming that Ling Xiaoyu was talking about when she was worried about all the bad shit that he did as Devil Jin back in Tekken 4, 5, 6, etc. Because he was kind of a tyrant for a little while, but he's good now. He's on the side of good. We end this chapter, it's a very short chapter, with Jin hearing a lullaby in his head, one his mother used to sing when he was a child. He wanders into the opening of the giant tree while seeing weird visions and promises Xiaoyu that he will come back.
So this lullaby, it's not your standard typical go to sleep sweet little baby lullaby. It's when you hear the sound of the ogre, you run away and hide.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
something like that.
It's something along those lines.
So it's a little bit creepy. Might explain a bit of Jin's, messed upness. Growing up with that as your lullaby, but
It might.
a necessary lullaby because there's a giant tree where you can go and hide. It has an opening and Jin goes and does just that, and he just kind of sits right down.
He sits down and just kind of passes out right away.
Not really what you might have expected. I don't think I expected him to just go into the hollow of this tree and just sit and pass out.
Me neither.
But so it was.
So it was. Chapter 9, A Promise. We are back in the airship with Lars and Lee, along with Leo, Professor Nicholas, Elisa, and Reyna. They're coming up with a plan to take down Kazuya's forces, which now includes several combatants from the tournament that Nina has decided to hire. We change scenes, back to Ling Xiaoyu watching over Jin's sleeping body inside the tree in Yakushima.
Just napping.
Yep. Remember, he's busy descending into his subconscious like Zafina sort of asked before she died. Ling Xiaoyu hears a noise outside and runs out to discover that a platoon of Jack 7s has shown up. Now from here we take on Ling Xiaoyu. We haven't played as her yet. Take on, that sounds bad, but we play her.
We step into the nimble shoes of Ling Xiaoyu to fight an endless array of Jack 7s.
That is right. So you've got to protect Jin from the Jack 7s in what was probably the toughest and most annoying fight in the entire game. For one reason, I don't play Ling Xiaoyu unless I'm playing Tekken Advance, the Game Boy Advance one. And then 2, you fight like 4 Jack 7s in a row on a single health bar. This one took us a couple of times to beat, actually.
Pause, rewind. Was this the first time Nina shows up in the story to tell Kazuya, hey, I've got some troops? Is this the first time we see her?
As far as I can, as I can remember, yeah. I'm pretty sure she just shows up and is like, hey, I work for you. I found some troops. And he's like, cool. Go hire him.
We did an episode on Nina a long time back now, but it covers all of her terrible attempts at being a hired killer.
Yep. She only succeeds one time in all of her missions, and it's when it's to screw over her sister.
Yeah, so not even part of her actual job. Just kind of a side effect of just being a bitch. But back to Xiaoyu, though. Yeah, this was really difficult. Let us know what you think, because I want to say this is probably the most difficult part of getting through the story, is this fight where you have to take on all these Jack 7s that just keep coming
Yeah.
with 1 health bar.
Yeah.
And Cam isn't a Ling Xiaoyu player. I'm a little bit of... So I ended up doing it, but man.
At what cost?
Yeah. I don't enjoy fighting Jack of any variety.
And I don't like fighting 4 Jacks in a row when they fly in and stomp on you before the fight even starts.
Certainly not.
From here, after you've finally defeated all the Jack 7s, we move into what Jin is seeing in his subconscious. He's witnessing memories of when he was a child, training with his mother. She tells him that the Kazama style is used to protect others that he cares about. Chapter 10. All Out Assault. We're all out of salt.
Yeah, we're all out of it. Somebody get more salt.
I want to start by saying that this was probably the longest chapter and also probably the one I had the most fun with. We switch into a different style of play. It's Tekken Force.
You want to explain what that is?
Yeah, Tekken Force was something that was in the older games, starting with Tekken 3, and I want to say it went through 5. But yeah, it's kind of a beat 'em up style where you take control of a character and you run through these little environments just beating the crap out of a bunch of enemies. They're kind of generic soldiers, Jack 7s, that kind of thing. But I thought that was really fun, and it was cool that they brought it back. I kind of hope they eventually add a mode that's just Tekken Force where you can pick any character you want and just battle as many people as you can take until you lose. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So like an endurance Tekken Force. I've never played like a Tekken game that has this in it. To me, this was like a Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, it was a lot like that.
Because it was just like hordes of people, hordes of, little guys. And you also would have the bar up at the top in the middle of like your morale of like how was the good side versus the bad side holding up. And then you'd also have your side and the enemy side voices come through at times with their little speech bars at the bottom. I grew up playing a lot of Dynasty Warriors and it reminded me of that. It is kind of weird using Tekken people to do so, but right. I liked it. Yeah, it was fun.
It's really cool. It's an interesting mode, and if they brought it back, I would kind of hope there would be some sort of ranking system for it, because if there was, I think I would get addicted to that and I would play it a ton.
All right. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But that being said, let's jump into it. Nina is once again here. She's with the G-Corp forces in a giant open field when a generic soldier tells her that the newest suppression unit is almost ready. We don't know what that means yet.
Doesn't sound good.
Doesn't sound great. From there, we see Lars on a motorcycle, driving up to the rest of our heroes. Kuma's there too. He doesn't have a bike, unfortunately. But Hwoarang, Lee, Paul, Shaheen, King, Leroy, Leo, Steve, and Reina are all on motorcycles of their own, so big ol' motorcycle club.
Bike fleet coming in.
Love it. I love to see it. Another thing, Victor and Raven are there, and they're just standing there.
Bikes are for kids, apparently.
I get it for Raven because he can teleport, but why isn't Victor on one? Is he just not a team player?
Does Victor also teleport?
No, he's just not a team player. Well, maybe he does, I don't know, but it's not as cool if he does.
Yeah.
You think of Raven, you think badass ninja.
You think of Victor, you think retired piece of shit.
Welcome to the Victor Hate Train, Part 2. Not a team player.
He can't ride a bike.
He can't. He doesn't know how.
He would fall right over because he's so old. He's just a phantom Raven, just a vision of what he used to be, maybe. Maybe he was always a piece of shit. I don't know.
Maybe he was. Give us a game that explores how much of a piece of shit Victor is in his youth.
I can't decide if I would play that so intensely or just like not touch it.
If I could just see it where like you were playing as someone else and you just saw him on the sidelines being a piece of shit, I'd be for it. But I don't want to play as Victor.
Okay.
Anyways. Lars gives a speech to the motorcycle crew about how he's pleased to be on the side of justice with this team, and he tells them that it'll be a difficult battle and that they're vastly outnumbered by Kazuya's G-Corp. But he refuses to submit to Kazuya's rule. Lars and the gang ride their new motorcycles into battle, and we get to play some Tekken Force, beating up tons of soldiers and T-posing jacks. You were the one that actually pointed out the T-posing jacks. You're like, what are they doing? They're just standing there. But I think it's just because there are so many on screen at once that not every character moves immediately when they spawn in. So a lot of jacks are just T-posing.
Yeah, so I don't know if our PS5 is just not able to handle the Tekken Force, but
Tekken Force is powerful.
Let us know your experience if you saw a lot of T-posing Jack 7s, because we sure did.
We saw a lot. From here we move on to Lars, Lee, and Raven. We take turns as those three, fighting a bunch of soldiers. And then Leo rides in on a motorcycle and drifts it into a group of dudes before facing off against Azucena.
What a shock.
It was
right?
really cool.
Leo has more bike experience than we've ever been aware of, apparently.
Maybe he should be the playable character in that side story.
Tekken Force Leo edition.
That'd be sweet. Let us drive the bike.
Yeah, instead of like in Dynasty Warriors, how you have horses, you got bikes.
Hell yeah. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Leo's about to face off against Azucena. Azucena is on G-Corp's side because, in her words, it makes for better brand optics. So she's all about the money, all about expanding her coffee brand. She does mention that coffee would be a great way to help with world peace. So I don't really think that she sees how dark Kazuya is. I think she's kind of oblivious to that. I love coffee as much as the next person. I'm drinking some right now, but I don't think it's going to solve world peace.
But also, I don't think being on that side of the fight is going to achieve that.
I don't think so either.
It's not a good look for your brand.
It's not great. It's not the best. She also mentions that she thought she could smell a fellow Java-phile when Leo showed up, so she can tell he likes coffee too, I guess.
It's bikes and coffee. Leo is just all about both of those things, and that's new to Tekken 8.
From here we move on to Paul Phoenix. He's death fisting dudes, as he's known to do. You know what Paul does. He death fists all over the place. So, Paul Phoenix is death fisting dudes, as he's known to do, when Law shows up and whiffs a flying kick over his head. Paul is shocked that Law is with the G-Corp, but for Law, it's all about the money. They have this little flashback where Law is like, "You broke your promise. We were supposed to share the money." And then Paul's like, "Oh, I thought you were talking about something different. I thought I was supposed to punch Kazuya in the face."
Yeah, so they have like a misunderstanding as friends because they're supposed to be pretty tight. So this is kind of just like a goofy scene. Paul is just like, wait, we weren't talking about the same thing, man. I thought we were talking about getting Kazuya, not getting his money, the prize money.
Right.
Like, that's not here, my dude.
Right.
There's no money on this battlefield of Jack Sevens. And motorcycles.
And not only that, but the tournament never officially ended. Mm-hmm. We got to round 2 and then Kazuya started blowing shit up with his lasers.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, this prize pot could just be an illusion.
Maybe it got exploded by lasers.
Maybe.
While Paul and Law are fighting, Kuma notices and tries to sneak attack Paul because the two have always had beef, dating back to the first Kuma in Tekken 1. But Kuma gets hit by a stray missile that was headed for Paul. This scene was tragic for like half a second for me because we've already seen a couple of people die in the story at this point, and my heart sunk when that happened. I was like, no, not Kuma. This can't happen. This can't be happening. But then we get like the funniest scene in the entire story.
By this point in the story, we've heard this Our Time Is Now theme song in mostly like orchestral ways. In this scene, we get a new version of this theme.
Dare I say the best version?
Oh, I would agree, and I'm a bit sad that this isn't included in the soundtrack as is. We'll see if that changes. But I would say it's kind of like a circus version of... It's very goofy, it's slow, it's made to go along with this Kuma scene. We get this great version of the theme that is very clown-like.
It's great. Like we said, Kuma gets hit by a missile and goes flying off. Paul sees this and he's like, "Kuma, you saved me." And Kuma's just laying there with his tongue out and he's like, "Hey man, don't get the wrong idea. I was actually trying to beat you up." From here we move on to Shaheen, King, and Steve Fox. They're all played here fighting more mobs of G-Corp soldiers. And Jack Sevens. One scene that really stuck out at this point is all the soldiers on your side start talking about how King rules and start chanting his name. They're Violet System soldiers, UN soldiers that Victor brought apparently, and here they just start chanting. Also, Steve Fox is able to dodge bullets apparently. They're just firing at him and he's doing his little boxer shuffle, just dodging bullets, and it's probably like the dumbest thing. It might be the dumbest thing in the story. That's just me as a Steve Fox hater. Back to Nina Williams. She is finally sending out their secret weapon, which turns out to be a single Jack 8 unit. But before that, she has to face Reina, who beats her ass, and also deflects bullets away with her hand. Jack 8 arrives, and Nina Williams is like, my job is done here. No one says this, but I'm pretty sure everyone's thinking, you didn't actually do anything, though.
Yeah, if Kazuya were on this battlefield, would she not get lasered after saying that? I mean,
Probably.
honestly.
Yeah, probably. At this point, Reina offers her a job, and Nina says, I'll think about it, but I'm going on vacation first.
Okay.
Known failure. Elisa, Lily, and Asuka tag team the Jack 8 unit and destroy him, and suddenly Devil Kazuya flies in.
Whoa. Stop right there.
Okay.
So Elisa is just fighting Jack 8, and she's struggling. Right. She's having a tough time. She might not make it, but she's got help.
She's got help.
So Lily and Asuka show up to help. They help save Elisa and kick Jack 8 in the butt.
Or in the face. But
yeah,
either way. Yeah. They both kick him in the head at the same time from opposite sides and just kind of squish his head a little bit, I guess.
Squish it. Makes it sound so tender.
Yeah. And that's it for Jack 8. His light goes out and they help Elisa back to her feet. It's a cool scene. And then, suddenly, Devil Kazuya flies in and starts lasering the entire battleground with reckless abandon, just shooting all of the troops and anybody that he can with his chest laser.
Man, should have shown up just a couple moments earlier so Nina could have been part of that.
Truly. Reina sees all the lasering happening and decides, this is my moment. I'm going to stand right in the way of one of these lasers and see what happens. So she gets shot with a giant laser, and then Kazuya flies away after using his third eye to find out where Jin is. As he flies away, we see Reina laying in the rubble. She opens one eye, and now it is red. A
lot of questions about this lady, Reina.
Yeah, quite a few. Chapter 11, For the Hope of Tomorrow. Ling Xiaoyu is still defending Jin at Yakushima from all the Jack 7s when Lars shows up to help.
It's still happening? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's still happening. Devil Kazuya flies down with a force that straight up blows Xiaoyu and Panda away in the wind, I guess? Mm-hmm. He must have some powerful wings. And then we immediately transition into Lars fighting Kazuya. After one round, Lars is clearly outmatched against this true Devil Kazuya, but it's also clear that he'll never give up. Lars makes a little speech, as he's known to do, while getting back to his feet, saying, sure, we might be weak compared to you. Even so, when we work together, support each other, we can build a future with our own hands.
All throughout this true Devil Kazuya is a bit triggered because he keeps looking at Lars and seeing flashes of Heihachi because, the hair. And, but yeah, that's like part of the scene is Lars literally, snapping into these images of Heihachi.
Yeah, standing tall, standing strong.
That's a little bit scary for Kazuya.
Lars goes into heat mode at this point and kicks a little ass, but Kazuya, being so powerful, rises up off the ground and shoots a huge chest laser, stopping Lars. Or so we think. Lars rises back up one more time with willpower alone, headbutting Devil Kazuya. Here there are more flashes of Heihachi, which we all know is both Kazuya and Lars' father. Lars states that every second they can buy will be worth it for the future of this world, and that Jin is the only one that can truly stop him. So he is not giving up, and it's a really cool scene. Lars is sweet.
And Lars has a lot of faith in Jin.
He does. Chapter 12, A Heart Bound in Chains. Jin comes face to face with his devil form, inside of his subconscious. Jin's devil form tries to convince him to seek power by giving in to his anger and hatred. His devil tells him that destruction follows him everywhere he goes, and Jin fights back, stating that his past sins make him the man he is today. Jin is ready to take ownership of his past and break the chains that have bound him for so long. Devil Jin asks Jin what he truly desires, and he thinks of all the people who believe in him. He says that he wants to protect those that he cares about, even if it costs him his life. With that, Jin and his devil form together, Jin fully embracing his past and taking control for the first time.
Jin's devil form isn't Jin's size at times. It's like massive.
Yeah, there are times where it's towering over him, just doing its horrific shrieks and laughing.
Yeah. So it's quite a trip.
It is, it's wild. Chapter 13, Awakening. Jin comes back to the real world, just in time to save Lars from getting blown away by another chest laser. Jin has a short heart-to-heart with Zhao Yu before flying off to battle Kazuya and finish this once and for all. By the way, Jin now has one black wing and one white wing, representing the duality of his power. The devil's power is no longer his curse, it's the power to protect those that matter most to him. Kazuya decides that enough is enough and decides to wipe the entire island of Yakushima off the map. He forms a huge ball of devil energy over his head and throws it down towards the ground. Jin is struggling to hold it back, but he hears his mother's voice and he sees her in a vision. She reminds him that the Kazama style is there for protecting, and that his own life is worth protecting too. He asks her, "Do I have the right to desire life?" His mother June says, "A Kazama's power fosters life and cleanses evil. Use that power to save yourself and Kazuya."
It's a tall order, Mom.
Pretty tall order. Have you seen what he's done recently?
He's a true devil now, Mom.
I've seen him kill a bunch of people. Some of them were my friends. With that, Jin turns into Angel Jin and throws the ball of devil energy into the ocean. Hopefully this doesn't have any sort of ecological effects.
Or Godzilla waking effects.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. It's a giant explosion in the ocean. Chapter 14. Clash Above the Heavens.
We're going to space.
As Angel Jin and Devil Kazuya clash above the sea, a giant landmass flies out of the water below, taking the two of them into space. I guess that's probably what happened from the giant devil energy ball that flew into the ocean.
Yeah, but what was under that? Godzilla sleeping?
Yeah, Godzilla probably shoved it up because he was pissed.
Get a crossover.
Now that we're in space, it's time for an angel and devil battle on a meteor.
Angel? There's angels in space?
There are now. There's angels and devils in space. After 3 rounds of this, the father-son duo have another discussion of what power truly means, before anime punching each other's fists and expelling all of the extra energy into the universe.
Once again, is this going to have some effects on, just life as we know it?
Yeah, weird devil rays and angel rays flying out into the entire universe.
Yeah, other heavenly beings getting moved around and squished and mushed and... I don't know.
It's going to come back through like satellite power or something and infect Jack 8 and we're going to get Angel Jack 8.
Or it could just go through satellites and somehow blow up Victor.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Just go directly to his dumb little earpiece.
It just explodes Victor's ears. Melts his brain. Chapter 15. Strength and Conviction. Jin and Kazuya have both let go of their respective angel and devil powers, and the meteor they were on crash lands back into the ocean. So now they're back on Earth. They're surrounded by tornadoes, lightning bursts, and fires. It's a really cool scene. Jin is still prepared to face Kazuya, even though the pair are just a couple of regular humans now. Kazuya is just as stubborn as ever. He's basically like, yeah, nothing's gonna stop me. My devil power was just one means to what I'm trying to do. I'll never stop. Here we get a classic slugfest. Son versus father, good versus evil. Kazuya repeats his classic line, "Power is everything." To which Jin replies, "Power isn't everything."
Wow.
Yeah, very cool.
Well thought out response, Jin.
I bet that sounded cooler in his head. Kazuya pushes Jin back into a wall of rocks and pummels him with a flurry of punches before releasing one final giant lightning fist, punching him in the face, and he crumbles to the ground. It's looking pretty grim for Jin at this point, but he has another vision. This one is of all of the people who believe in him, everyone he cares for, and he uses that strength to get up one last time. Kazuya starts giving everything he's got left at this point. Kazuya starts wave dashing in your face at this point during the final fight, and it is a really intense battle.
It's a bit disrespectful.
It is. It's nuts. He's doing all kinds of hell sweeps, wave dashes, and he's kind of just beating your shit in. But Jin has something more than power at this point. Willpower and friendship.
Friendship?
Friendship? Again?
Shouldn't we also note the attire at this point?
Oh, definitely.
They're no longer, you recall, True Devil Kazuya was in the nude, if you will.
Yeah.
Censored only by crystals.
Yeah.
And since becoming his true self again, he's wearing white pants.
Yeah, he's got
Are they white pants?
Yeah, he's got white dress pants on.
They're both just wearing pants and shoes.
Jin was also naked at this point. He
right.
he was in his full angel form, which kind of looked a lot like Devil Kazuya, only with more yellow and feathers.
Pretty goofy.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Wouldn't you say?
It's pretty silly. Somehow on the way back to Earth on this meteor, they put pants back on.
They got some pants from space. Maybe there's a new dress code for when you enter Earth's atmosphere, and it's pants.
Pants required.
You gotta have pants. You can't get it back in.
Here we go. With the power of willpower and friendship, and one final punch, they both hit each other at the same time in the face. But this time, it's Kazuya that crumples to the ground. With that, the devil's blood is gone from this world. Jin sees a white dove and a single flower, and thanks his mother for the strength and guidance that she has given him. Next up, we flash to Jin riding up on a motorcycle to Ling Xiaoyu, who also has a motorcycle. And we pan out over a beautiful landscape. Of course, there's one last scene after this.
You said a beautiful landscape? What do you mean by that? Because to me, it looks like a highway out west in the U.S. Like, this looks like somewhere Paul would be.
Yeah, you are right about that, but it's like a beautiful, like, mountainous, rocky landscape.
Okay. So not
like lush.
Not like a lush,
nothing,
like Yakushima place, but...
Right. Kind of a desert. But it's...
like a Route 66 place.
It still looks good.
A beautiful desert place. With a road, with a highway.
A beautiful desert with a single road through the middle of it. There is one final scene after this, which shows Reina getting to the island where the two were just fighting. She states, "Heihachi, my father, on my life I swear I'll..." And before she's able to finish her sentence, she transforms into Devil Reina. That's it.
This ending right here, this is the ending that you've been playing the story to get to.
Right.
Right? This is the goal. This is what Lars would want. This is what Jin wants. This is what all the good people want. There's another ending. I don't know if this is a first for Tekken, having multiple endings.
So, yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
It was kind of hard to get, honestly.
Yeah, it was. So let's get into that. We did the good ending first.
We didn't mention this, but in Angel versus Devil form, you fight him 3 times in a row, and then in that final chapter, you fight him 6 times in a row.
It is so much father-son fight.
It is very intense, and each time you think, my God, how can they keep going? There's no way he stands up after this, whether that's Jin or Kazuya. There's no way whoever just got beaten down will stand up again, and then they do and just start beating the shit out of each other all over again.
The first time we went through this with Cam telling me, like, we have to win every time, I was just like more worried, like, what if we don't make it? What if there's another one? What if we don't make it? But but it was fine. Intense. We made it, and then flip the coin, trying to get the bad ending. It was hard to lose.
It was.
I was just like, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, we tried. I had so much pressure on me to win, and here we are trying to lose, and it's like
impossible. You have to win the first 5,
right?
And then the final one, fight number 6, where it's all or nothing. Mm-hmm. You have to lose that in order to get the final ending. But Jin has this auto parry where if you're not pressing any buttons, he'll just automatically dodge and punish. And he also, at one point, if you lose your first health bar, he'll just gain another health bar back. So you have to lose that again. And it was really hard to get Kazuya to attack us at this point. I think because story-wise, he was kind of all out of energy, all out of power. But it took quite a long time to get beaten in this in this fight.
It really did. We finally got Kazuya to beat us down.
It's a rather simple ending, and it's kind of a classic Tekken ending because we still get that point where the two punch each other at the same time in the face, but this time it's Jin that falls. And the next scene is Kazuya walking towards the edge of a cliff with Jin in his arms and dropping him off the cliff into the sea. So that's really it for that one. Mm-hmm. Definitely a non-canon thing. The one where he throws Jin off the cliff, I feel like it's just more of a fun thing. Like, another Mishima throwing another Mishima off a cliff.
Yeah, you gotta have the cliff.
Gotta have it. Mm-hmm. That was the only cliff in this story, so gotta do it. But anyways, yeah. Let's talk about some themes of the story a little bit.
Well, I think theme number 1 would definitely be motorcycles because, wow.
Yeah.
We'd have to do a counter, at some point of like how many times are motorcycles in the story.
Oh, yeah. I would guess that it's at least 8. They really show off motorcycles in this story. Another theme is getting through your traumas and letting them go, and not letting your past define you, being able to move on from that, live for yourself, and live for others as well.
Which really was just for Jin.
Right, yeah.
Unfortunately, Jin couldn't, fulfill that part of the task for his mom.
Right.
In getting Kazuya to be purified as well. But
although he purified him of the devil.
That's true.
Energy. He just couldn't change his mind because Kazuya was pretty singularly focused. I actually really enjoyed the scenes with Jin facing Devil Jin and talking to his own subconscious, realizing that the traumas that he's gone through helped make who he is today, and just kind of embracing that and accepting it. Trying not to run from it, push it away anymore. The things you go through, they help build you up and make you a stronger person. And it was really cool to see that in this game.
Now with Reina, let's go back to Reina, because it gives off the feeling that there should be a story expansion. Because this character is new.
Yeah.
And leaves a lot of questions. So let's get into that, because Reina has now revealed that Heihachi is her father. However, we all know that the devil gene came from Kazumi.
Right. So how does this
does
work?
this mean that Reina is also somehow, the daughter of Kazumi? How does she have devil genes?
Right, yeah, that's kind of strange. Like, I wonder if Kazumi was pregnant when she was killed, and then maybe Heihachi kept this secret child?
Maybe.
They don't say this is all speculation.
Here's a theory that I will supply, since this has occurred in Tekken by the hands of Kazuya, but
Yeah.
Heihachi could do this. Now, Heihachi was the one to kill Kazumi, but maybe he preserved her reproductive elements,
Maybe,
eggs.
yeah.
I don't know why he would, though, knowing that that's where the devil gene comes from, and
Right.
I don't know, but that's just a theory. So we know that Kazuya did that not did that, but we know that he used Nina, essentially, to make a lab baby, Steve.
Listen to the Nina episode.
So, yeah, Nina did not choose to be a mother. She was just used, and Steve was created in a lab.
It's possible.
So,
possible.
it's a Mishima thing. It could be, but
Yeah,
I think it's definitely begging for a story expansion.
it really seems like it.
I can't wait till Tekken 9 to know what's going on with Reina. I don't know about you.
Tekken 9's not going to be till like 2035,
Right.
something like that, based on how slow they release these games at this point. My only other thought is, we know that it does not come from Heihachi, but his father Jinpachi had his own thing going on. It wasn't a devil form, it was a demon form. Devil and demon are apparently different in this world. Maybe it's going to be like Demon Reina instead of Devil Reina.
Maybe.
Just an idea.
Maybe. Because, we didn't really mention the appearance so much, but she is, I would say, closer to what true Devil Kazuya looks like. She's like all purple.
Yep.
And, bonus, she finally gets that special hair
She
from
does.
Heihachi. So, if anybody sees her like that, they're going to be looking around like, hey, Lars, you might have a sister?
Yeah, maybe.
She's purple.
Yeah.
Drop your Reina theories. I do want to talk about character inclusion, because I feel like that is pretty key.
Yeah.
The choices of who to include and how much to include, that's important.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's take a little stock there, and I mostly want to focus on the inclusion of another new character. Victor.
Okay.
So, Victor, the Phantom Raven. Terrible choice. A terrible choice to use. Honestly, I feel like they could have just as easily had Raven
Definitely.
fulfill this whole role. Raven ended up not doing, he was just a sidekick.
Yeah.
He's so much cooler than that.
Right.
And he's so much cooler than Victor.
Definitely.
Like, Victor, we don't even know this guy. you could just as easily use Raven.
Yeah, Victor
So
didn't
I
really
feel
do
like-
a whole lot. The only thing he really had any sort of effect on story-wise was bringing his UN soldiers to the final battlefield.
Right.
That's it. He didn't do anything cool.
Yeah, which, I mean, again, Raven could have just as easily supplied his own ninja soldiers.
That would have been cooler.
Exactly.
A platoon of ninjas? That would have been badass.
So I'm not... Assuming you've heard part 1, you know I'm not a fan of the old man in a suit. I would say out of all the new characters to come up in this game, he has the least stock, you know? Like, why is he here? Why was he needed? When his sidekick is Raven?
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
No,
Raven should have been the star.
Definitely. I would fully agree on the Victor thing, because the only other thing he really tried to do was sneak attack Dragunov on the battlefield, and after defeating him, Dragunov gets away. Easily.
Slithers away.
He just gets away. I think Victor is extremely rude to everybody he meets for no reason. I don't really get that. I don't know if that's supposed to make him look smug and cool, but to me it does not.
Yeah, it definitely did not work for me. You know, it's like when a newcomer shows up, you want them to earn your respect. You want them to earn the respect of the rest of the standing cast.
Right.
These people that have been around. Lars, the leader of the Lion Rebellion. No respect.
No, he talks
None
down to
at
everyone
all.
he meets.
Paul, why the different hair for Paul?
Was it just because he was on a motorcycle in a couple of scenes and they didn't want him to look weird with his hair just sticking straight up because wind physics? Were there any characters that stood out to you in the story or kind of gained some newfound respect?
Definitely Leroy.
Yeah.
I think he was the first one to show up and have a big impact, where before I didn't really think about him that much. But here he was, part of the story, being a
great.
really good anchor for Jin. Also Claudio.
Yeah.
He got a lot of bonus points for literally being the only one to buy time.
Till the end when we had
Right, I mean...
cool guy Lars doing his headbutts and showing
at that
flashes
point.
of Heihachi.
Yeah,
Right.
at that point.
Right.
And then, of course, I mean, this isn't like someone that I like more, but I loved anytime Panda had any contribution, because she's just so sweet.
She is. She's great.
So, what about you? What are your standouts?
I would definitely agree on Leo. I didn't even say that. I'm sorry. I got Leo on the brain. I would definitely agree on Leroy, because I didn't dislike him before. I was just kind of indifferent to Leroy in Tekken 7. But in this game, I really grew to appreciate him and how much he cares for others. And he was a huge motivational force for Jin in the first half of the story. And then when he shows up later on to fight with Lars and his motorcycle gang, he kind of said, he pretty much just says, I'm here for Jin. I want to help Jin.
Good dude.
I think that's cool. Yeah. Another character that really stood out to me in this game was Leo. And I know you've always been a Leo fan, but that was another one I was indifferent to. But Leo in this game really stood out. So those are probably the top 2 for me.
Okay. Leo did kind of shine in this story.
Definitely.
So I guess thank you for giving Leo a chance to shine in the story, because I feel like Leo gets a lot of that, like, indifference / hate.
I was kind of indifferent before, like I said, but I really grew to appreciate Leo in this story.
Yeah. That's cool.
That, and we also got to see Professor Nicholas Clausen.
Yeah.
Leo's dad? Are we going to be able to fight as him in, like, season 2 or something?
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned them, really, but Lee had a couple of moments later in the story where, you know, he says excellent, and he does this really awkward high five to Jin.
Yeah.
Yes. We didn't mention that, but that was a really goofy, fun part of the story, but that's just me liking Lee.
I like that. I thought it was cool. I love how all of the heroes of the story, I guess you could call them heroes, you know, depending on how you view things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all the heroes of the story that kind of band together to help out at the end, that was really cool to see all of them just kind of doing it for hope of the future and to save the world from Kazuya. I liked that they're not always necessarily friends, but they kind of were in these moments. There were a lot of acts of friendship in this game that really just saved the day, and A lot of those were the highlights for me.
It was a good story and great themes.
Definitely.
A really fun fake out with Kuma. I'm so glad that he's okay.
Me too, because that would have been tragic for me. I love Kuma.
That was a nice bit of comic relief on the battlefield, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's give it a rating. What do you give the Tekken 8 story out of 10? Out of 8?
Tekken 8.
Okay. How many out of 8?
8 out of 8.
8 out of 8, huh?
I like it. I like it a lot. I thought it was a powerful story. I thought it was really well done, and it was a nice culmination of everything that's been going on for the last 30 years in Tekken.
I'm going to give it a 7.8.
Okay.
Minus
Still keeping 8 in there.
Minus 0.2 for Victor.
Fair enough.
Because honestly, if I could change one thing about the story, I would just take Victor's existence and drop it in the trash. And just use a better character. Anyways, I had to dock a little something off for Victor, so.
That's fair.
But yeah, all in all, great story, great time.
It's a ride. It's got some nice emotional impacts. It's got some fake outs.
Mm-hmm.
It's got punching.
Yes.
It's got a lot of punching.
It does. And punching, bikes, caves.
Yeah, motorcycles, friendship.
Well, with that, we are done here with the Tekken 8 story and hope you enjoyed. And let us know your thoughts as always. If you played it, hopefully you have if you're listening to this. And we are going to see you next time. And in the meantime, we're going to be watching a lot of Capcom Cup over the next few days. It's 5 days long.
Yeah, Wednesday through Sunday.
And before our next episode, there will be another Rise and Fight. So be sure to check that out. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. next week.
The 27th.
Yeah. So talk to us in the Discord. Get up on stage. Don't be shy. Bye.
You saved me.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Wake Up 3. You can follow along on Twitter at Wakeupthreefgc or on YouTube and Spotify at Wakeup3. I'm your host Cam, and you can find me at Big Ruck Online on all social media.
And I'm your host Molly, and you can find me on Twitter at Concut, that's KAHNKUT, or on PlayStation, that's Jan Michaels.
This is Wake Up 3 signing off.
Bye.
He starts waving. Hey, hi.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm Kasia. Power is everything.